All righty, welcome into the Gary Ayd Show here on the Cave, cavetalkradio.com, the Cave Talk Radio app, Apple Carp, Amazon Alexa, and of course Facebook and YouTube Live. Definitely the best way to keep in touch with us is through our mobile app. Cave Talk Radio is the name of the app in Google Play and the App Store. Definitely download it. We are approaching 200 downloads. Pretty cool stuff. Great to have you all aboard. Gary Ayd, Rich Anselmo. And, of course, today is Friday, which means it's a big football day, at least this time of year. And, of course, we had a World Series game last night. Funny enough, yesterday was an interesting day for the cities of Philadelphia and Houston, respectively. They were doing battle on multiple fronts yesterday, and they split the difference. Although I'm sure Philly fans would be happy to change the difference. But that's not what happened. So, let me see here. I my wife was texting me. So I think ultimately that Philadelphia, that is the Phillies, is just playing against a better team. I felt that from the beginning. We've been talking about this for a long time. And ultimately, I think that they last night's game was the first game in this series that really felt like a baseball game, right? Like it really felt like either team could win. And those little things, those key moments in the game were going to determine who won what. And ultimately, I think that the Phillies came up short in that capacity, mostly because the Astros are just great at that stuff. And that to me is the difference, not only in this series, but really between these two teams. Now, I know Justin Verlander is a guy who really has been much maligned for his World Series performances. But he came up pretty big last night. The team got a couple of big hits. They won 3-2. They're up 3-2. Game 6 will be back in Houston. So right now, everything kind of lines up for the Astros to win. They basically have to win 1 out of 2 at home. This was the pivotal game, as Game 5s often are. And I think that Philly ultimately shot their best shot and were matched and bested by a team that's just a little bit better.
Let's not fail to mention Chas McCormick's catch.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, good call.
That saved big time. That saved the game, actually. Verlander did set a record, though, yesterday. He gave up his 10th career World Series homer. Gave it up to Kyle Schwarber. And for the debates going back and forth on the no-hitter, is it really a no-hitter when it's a participation trophy hitter and no-hitter and all that stuff? Well, it was the highest-rated Game 4 in like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So people were tuned in.
Oh, yeah. No, it was, it was a great game.
Yeah. And like you said, they're just a better team.
Yeah, Astros are just a little bit better. Yeah, so I think that ultimately this series ends in 6. I think it was just a great just really a great game overall, like you said, Rich. And the Astros are just a little bit better. So that said, we'll see what Game 6 looks like. Is that tonight or is that tomorrow? Oh, that's got to be tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, this is a travel day, of course. And we'll see how that plays out. Now, a couple other things wanted to get to, kind of opening up here. I'm very disappointed in Kyrie Irving. He bent the knee and, went and apologized. So, all of that was for naught. Basically, this is the thing you have to understand with these situations. They're never going to like you. They're never going to accept you. And apologizing will do nothing to fix any of that. All it does is kind of put a cold compress on the stance you took. So ultimately, it's self-destructive to apologize, even if you were wrong. But you can't really be wrong with your own opinion. Your opinion is your opinion. But even if you think you made a mistake, apologizing is going to compound that mistake, because what it's going to do is it's going to take support from this side without giving you any support over here. So it's just self-defeating. That's why I would tell all these people to go screw themselves. Like, if they ever tried to force me to apologize for anything, because the truth is, even if in my head, in my heart, I'm thinking, okay, I was wrong, saying it publicly accomplishes nothing for me. So that I would never give them that satisfaction, because I'm not going to get anything for giving them to that. It's not going to be an even transaction. Uh, Kyrie Irving's still going to be much maligned. He's still going to have all the same enemies. He's still going to be, you know, beholden to the same people and that forced this apology out of him now. Like, so all he did is just empower the people who are trying to bring him down. I think it's just a bad move. And for me, it does take some of the shine off the coin a little bit, in terms, not that I agreed with what he said, but I love the fact that he was defiant in, not taking it back. And that was the whole charm of it to me. Just like we were talking about Dan Snyder the other day. I think Dan Schneider's a sleazebag, but it's his team. And like, I was very disappointed that he's like not going to fight it. So this just puts Kyrie Irving in the big bin with all the other people that talked a good game until the water got hot and then they bowed to the mob. So that's what happened here. The whole world started rallying up against him, and instead of just riding out the storm like he did with the COVID thing, with his vaccine stance, he decided here to bow to the mob. And whenever you bow to the mob, you end up losing. So very, very disappointed. It's a loss for free speech and freedom of expression, as far as I'm concerned. Again, and people have to understand this: freedom of expression doesn't mean you agree with the person's expressing. It doesn't mean that the person is right or morally correct or ethically sound or anything. It just means being able to express your opinion without retribution, without being canceled. So, see, the whole, well, there's freedom of speech, but not freedom of consequences. Yes, that's true. But the intent of that is not to punish just expressing an opinion. The intent of consequences on expression are when a law is broken, or when someone is physically hurt, when property is physically taken or damaged. Uh, you can't hurt someone by expressing your opinion on something unless that person allows your opinion to affect them enough mentally to hurt them. So that is not what consequences of expression are supposed to police. What he said is not in the realm of there should be consequences for it, other than people disagreeing with him and expressing their disagreement, which is the other end of the same coin, the other side of the same coin. But what they're doing now is nothing more than just, an extension of cancel culture. And what's funny about this is they'll whine and complain about athletes not giving real answers to things. Well, this is why. Because if you don't like the answer, I'm going to lose, 5 games checks now, whatever it is, at least that much. The Nets suspended him that long. It'll be interesting to see if, now that he's bowed to the mob, if they'll change that. But he's going to lose whatever else he's lost, all the headache, all the annoyance. I mean, it's amazing anyone says anything other than screw you, go away.
And this is why, especially in the NBA, the relationship with the press is the way it is. There's very few people anybody trusts.
Yeah, how could you?
Difficult to even put out an opinion. And Kyrie even said in his press conference yesterday, I didn't realize he had apologized.
Yeah.
The one I saw, he didn't. And he said, ask me questions about basketball.
Yep.
That's fine. If you ask me anything else, I'm giving you my opinion.
Right. Yep.
And he's got to sit for at least 5 games to think about it. I think I don't
It's
know what to think anymore.
well, yeah, it's the whole thing is just it's bad for everybody. And the funny thing is how few people realize it's bad for them. That's what I think is so crazy about this whole thing is like you have a unanimous media right now, unanimous, with me being like the lone exception, me and Jason Whitlock. There's two of us. Uh like that's it. Everyone else, whether it's the news media, the sports media, like the larger entertainment apparatus of public discourse, all of that, it's like bashing and bashing and bashing. And it's like, guys, this same engine that you're now using on the driver's side to run over Kyrie Irving, when you step out of line, you best believe you're going to be the one getting run over by this same engine, by the same people you now think are your allies. How you don't see that? I mean, Ray Charles can see that. And he's blind and dead.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, my God, it's just crazy.
Well, now the Anti-Defamation League is not accepting his $500,000 donation.
Well, that's my point. That proves what I was just saying a second ago.
I, on the other hand, am willing to accept
I'll
this
take
donation.
it. Absolutely. And you know what? You don't even have to apologize to me. You can say, you know, I meant every word of it. The hell with those people. I'll still take the 500 grand. How about that?
And then, of course, on socials, and I saw this on both Twitter and Facebook this morning, people are turning it into a black-white thing. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, everybody's getting all upset over this, but it's okay to be like this to black people. I'm like, no one said it is okay.
Right. Yeah, no one said that. I mean,
we have to stop fanning the flames.
We do. Oh, we do. And it starts by not canceling people for expressing any opinion. We need to significantly broaden the scope of accepted expression. Like, because it's so narrow right now that like all you can do is like say nothing. Like really, if you care. Now, there are a couple of people, I thought until recently Kyrie was one of them, that just don't care. You know, Candace Owens doesn't care. Kanye West, Yee, whatever the hell his name is, I don't think he cares. A lot of people do. And you know, it's understandable because you know, they might have a certain opinion or a certain view on something, but if they express it the wrong way, they could be out of a job, they could be out of a career. I mean, it's scary. And
that has to be in his thought process.
Of course it is. I just find it interesting that he was so quick to capitulate here with just a modicum of the pressure he faced when he was staring down the barrel of never playing again when the COVID restrictions in New York City were in place. Because there was no indication until one day they just rescinded that those rules were ever going to be rescinded, really. So, like, at the time he was sitting those games out, he had to think there was a possibility that at least until his contract with the Nets was over, his career was on hold. Like, he had to think that at that point. There was no indication that wasn't.
Oh, yeah. Actually, there was. Silver stepped in and went to the Nets and said, if this stays the same, if it's status quo, this needs to happen.
What are you talking about?
Seriously considering sitting him for a lot longer than 5 games.
Oh, no, I was going back to the COVID thing. I was making an analogy. Like, when he was sitting out for not wanting the vaccine, there was no indication at the time he was missing those games that those regulations, those local regulations that were necessitating him not playing were ever going to be lifted. So like that kind of went from 0 to 60 overnight. Like it went from these are going to be in place indefinitely to boom, they're not in place anymore. So what I'm saying is he was with that, willing to basically ride it out indefinitely, which could have been at worst for the length of his Nets contract. But with this, after just a quick 5-game suspension, it was announced that he was going to be suspended at least 5 games, and boom, he apologizes. So it's interesting that
I think it's a different situation.
It's a different situation.
I think with the other one, it wasn't going to last forever.
Right.
He was eventually going to play, and his job was never threatened. From what I've gathered from talking to a couple of people, his job was seriously threatened in these talks. That can make a difference.
Well, I would say his job was seriously threatened with the COVID stuff too, because there was no indication that those regulations were ever going to be taken out of place in New York City. I mean, so
no, but they weren't. It wasn't where they were threatening him.
Right. It wasn't the organization threatening him. Although I'm sure they were pressuring him.
Yeah, this is a point right now where he is being threatened at this minute. His job was being threatened.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is...
And that's a little difference. It's kind of a big difference.
Yeah, the whole thing is crazy. It really is.
I hate the fact we're talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I hate the fact that we're talking about it from the context that this type of stuff happens, but I think that it's a really important topic and a very appropriate topic to discuss on a show like this, because it's both sports and bigger picture. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It really is. It matters a lot in the sports world right now. It's one of the top stories in the sports world right now, and it matters even more in the greater scope of society. So it's an important topic, and I think it's important to have a voice on the other side of this, because everyone's talking about this, but they're all talking about it from the side of Irving is an anti-Semite, and he needs to be punished, and he's this, he's that, he's that, he's that. We're talking about this from the standpoint of, well, all he did was express his opinion, and that's supposed to be a protected right.
Right. And it doesn't help that, just like you said, he's being attacked everywhere. It's us by everybody. I mean, 2 people on Inside the NBA, 2 sport legends, calls him an idiot.
Right. No, I know. Well, so there you have it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take our first break. We'll come back. We got other things to get to today, including Thursday Night Football. We touched on the World Series. There were some games in the NBA last night, a couple NHL scores, and, of course, we have to do our football picks, question of the day. A lot to get to. More coming. The Gary Ayd Show. Back after this here on The Cave.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. That's 800-370-2460.
Come on, You watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then, if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. That's 800-649-8617.
All right, we're back here on the Gary Ayd Show. Great to have you aboard, Gary Ayd, Rich, and Selmo. You hear a little difference in Rich's audio today. We had a little faux pas. Should be back to normal, early next week. So I'm Bluetooth today. So there you have it. Last night's game was closer than I thought it was going to be. The football game for a while. The Eagles eventually pulled away and won this game, but it was tied at halftime. And we were talking about this yesterday. It's like, that could happen because, why not? Because that's how it goes. So, and that's exactly what happened for at least a half. But then the Eagles kind of righted the ship in the second half and they won this game, eventually by a healthy margin. But, this was interesting. And one thing about this game too, I really thought that the Eagles really took this game lying down. I thought they really came into this game sort of sleepwalking, and it allowed the Texans a little early confidence, a little early feeling that, hey, we can be in this game. But eventually the Eagles, 29-17 is the final score. First time in franchise history, they're 8-0. They have a really, really easy schedule this year. They really do. I mean, that's the thing. Their schedule is cake. And it's because it's built off of, they're obviously they play the NFC East, which is improved this year. But their outside division games are also fairly intense. Krispy Kreme donuts? You just texted me that?
Oh, yeah.
Were they hot and fresh?
No.
Okay. Well,
my daughter was in Pittsburgh on business. On the way back, they stopped in Erie and grabbed some donuts.
Oh, they're the best. They really are like the best donuts out there, I think.
I haven't had them in a while. Yeah, they're a nice treat.
Oh, they're amazing.
Probably exactly what I shouldn't be eating, but they were still a nice treat.
Oh, they're delicious. Yeah, they're definitely not designed to be good for you, but hey, they do taste good.
Good for the soul.
That's right. Good for the soul. Absolutely. So 29-17 was the final score of this game. Jalen Hurts.
They didn't beat the spread, did they?
No, they didn't. They came a point and a half short of the spread. I think the spread was 13.5. So
yeah.
So there you have it. Oh man.
So you want to get these picks done?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's start with the 1:00 games. Colts at Patriots.
Colts at Patriots. I like the Patriots in this game. I think the Patriots are a actually solid team. I think they're a team that is not great, but competent. And I think, as is a hallmark of all Belichick teams, they don't beat themselves. And right. I think the Colts have a habit of beating themselves. They also have a habit of having the owner tell the coaching staff what quarterback to play, which is probably bad. They're 5.5-point dogs in this one. I definitely got the Patriots here. If you're going to bet this game, I would bet the Patriots maybe to go maybe bet the over here, along with the Patriots to cover. That's probably your best play here. A little 2-prong parlay. Over under is 40.5. You'll get -105 on the over, -110 individually on the spread. You put them together, you'll probably get about even money, maybe a touch better. So that would be my play, but I got the Patriots in this one.
Packers at Lions. Do the Packers get better against the anemic Lions?
Yes, the Packers beat the Lions. I can't pick the Lions to win anything ever. So I'm not going to. The Packers are bad, but the Lions are like the trendsetters of bad. So I'm gonna go with the Packers here. I think what surprises me about this game, looking at it real quick, I'm surprised at the over/under where it's set here. It's set at 50. Vegas has a lot more.
Lions do score.
Well, they did in the beginning. Earlier in the year, they were scoring. They haven't been scoring well of late. And the Packers offense is anemic a lot of times. I'm surprised at that. That's a high number to me for this game. But I got the Packers. So again, I'm doing a two-pronged parlay. I'm going to take the Packers to cover the 3.5, and I'm going to go ahead and take the under on a two-pronged parlay. I don't think these teams are getting to 50.
Chargers at Falcons.
Chargers at Falcons. You know, this one's interesting. Both these teams have been kind of Jekyll and Hyde this year. I got to go with the Chargers here. I just think that Herbert's too good to be on such a blah team. The Falcons are a weird team this year. This game, unlike the other one, is almost the same thing. It's an over/under of just a point under 49. This one, I'm going the over. I'm definitely thinking there's going to be points in this one. I got the Chargers at -3 and the over. Again, two-pronged parlay. Same thing. Same bet. 3 games in a row. I got the Chargers and the over in this one. Chargers win this one. I'm going to say 30-20.
Interesting. Bills at the Jets. Jets have been talking a lot this week.
I know.
A lot.
It's not good news.
And the one defensive end, especially, who has been talking about Josh Allen.
You know what?
For calls. Well, he doesn't really, and he's probably not afraid of you.
Yeah, I'm thinking not, and I'm thinking he shouldn't be, and I'm thinking the Jets should, in the words of Laura Ingraham, shut up and dribble. This is bad news. It's bad enough that you're playing the Bills without your best offensive player, and it's even worse that you're talking junk, getting smoked. It's an 11-point spread. Bills are going to win this thing by 20. This game is going to be like 45 or like 35 to like 20 or something like that. I think the Bills are going to kill these guys. I got the Bills to cover. Easy. No, I'm not going to mess around with the over-under with this one. Just the Bills to cover. It's an 11-point spread. Give me the Bills. I'll lay the points. Let's go. Bills roll. Jets, shut up.
I think 11's too high for a divisional game. And I wouldn't touch it. I think the Bills are going to win. I don't know. I still am haunted by last year's Jackson.
I get that.
When I see them go on the road for some of these games, I'm waiting for the game where they are just bad.
Okay.
Everybody has them.
No, they do. I think that this might have been one of those games if it weren't for the Jets providing the bulletin board material. Now the Bills' attention is going to be all in.
I hope so.
So
I really do. That makes it more fun.
Absolutely.
Vikings at the Commies.
The Commies. Ooh, well, maybe I have to stop thinking of the Commies as like one of the absolute worst teams in football. But it's hard to because they just don't look good. But they keep having wins. But that said, there's no way they're beating the Vikings. Although this is only a 3-point spread. So Vegas not really sold on the Vikings here, despite having the second best record, I believe, at this time in the NFC behind the Eagles. Still only a 3-point spread on the road against the Commies. This is a value bet here. I think this game is going to be a 10-point game or something like that. I would tease that spread up, take a bigger number. I think the Vikings cover this pretty easily. If you want to take a look at this, the Vikings if you tease this up just a little bit, you'll get some extra play. So I'm trying to see how I'm gonna do this. Let's see. So if you go, I would be pretty comfortable at plus 7.5 here, which is plus 175 for the Vikings. You could probably, there's plus 8.5. I'm sorry, minus 8.5 is plus 185. Minus 9.5, which is about where I see this game. I see this as about a 10-point game, is plus 200. But I think you're safe at a 2-score game, which would be the 7.5. If you want to play this safe down the vest, you could even go one notch below. It's actually a generous offer, plus 145 for minus 6.5. So a touchdown game in favor of the Vikings. That's probably the bet I'll make. I think that's a sure thing. Take it to the bank. You can take your single there, plus 145. Vikings win by a touchdown. I think it's pretty well certain that happens. I might be a little more aggressive with it, but if you want to play it a little safe, that's a pretty good value for a thing that I think is pretty safe.
Oh, geez. Panthers and Bengals.
Oh, baby. Who doesn't love a good cat fight? Panthers and Bengals. That's about what we're about to get. Both the mascots and these teams. What a disaster. I mean, look, the one problem with parody's exciting when it comes to, you just never know what's going to happen, which is definitely true. But it's also, it's hard to look into a game like this and think and get excited about it. You know what's interesting here too? The Panthers are a 7-point dog, plus 280 on the money line, but they're only minus 105 to cover the spread. So you're not even getting money to cover the spread. I think I'm going to go with the Bengals here. They're home. They've been playing better of late. Their offense has looked better the last few weeks. And at some point, the sugar rush of like us against the world that the Panthers got after trading McCaffrey is going to wear off. I just think the Panthers are just, a few cards short of a deck here, and the Bengals are just better. So I got the Bengals. No bets here. Just Bengals are going to win. Leave this game alone.
Here's another one. Raiders and Jaguars.
Yeah, I've been on the Raiders all year. I got off them last week after their dreadful performance. I could see the Jaguars pulling this one out. The Raiders have been a very disappointing team. They find a way to lose games. It's almost a pick'em game. It's plus 1.5. I got the Raiders, I think, but I'm leaning Jaguars. Here's what I'll say. I don't know what's going to happen in this game. You get a slight, and I mean slight, plus money to pick the Jaguars here, plus 105 on the money line. That's enough for me. I mean, if I'm betting it, that is. If you ask me who I think's going to win, I'm one more week just because the Jaguars aren't very good. I'm going to go with the Raiders here. But my confidence in them and what I think they are has drastically shifted since last week. But I still can't. I'm not going to overcompensate and think that they're going to lose to a team that I think they're better than. So I am going to go with the Raiders here. But if I was betting this game, I would bet the Jaguars.
I think it's going to be one of those games where the last score wins. That last score might come late in the third quarter.
Yes.
And I think it's just going to go back and forth. For the first time in a couple of weeks, I've picked the Raiders. Only because Jacksonville hasn't played as well as they did the first 5 weeks of the season.
Yeah, they haven't been as good. The
Raiders haven't either.
No, that's true. Any differing games here so far?
No.
Okay.
No.
We're all on the same page. All right.
Dolphins and Bears.
Yeah, I got to go with the Dolphins. I mean, the
fire sale has begun.
Yep. The Dolphins just picked up Bradley Chubb, and they signed him to a huge contract.
5-year deal. So he's theirs for the next 6 years.
Yep. Yeah, so the big deal there. The Bears gave away everybody.
Didn't they get Chase Claypool back or from Pittsburgh?
They did, yes.
I didn't understand that at all.
That made no sense. I agree.
For Pittsburgh or Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, why, if you're Pittsburgh, you're nominally in in contention. And if you're the Bears, you just finished burning down the house. So why are you bringing someone into a burned down building?
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Although a lot of the talk in Pittsburgh, I've gathered, is that they all want Roethlisberger to come out of retirement.
The quarterback?
I think he proved.
I
think he proved last year he wasn't the answer.
No, he's not. Oh my goodness.
Only 2 4 o'clock games this week. But the most interesting game of the day, Seahawks at Cardinals.
Yeah, it is an interesting game. Big time division implications, of course. You know, the second I get onto the Seahawks, they're gonna lose. And actually Vegas thinks the Cardinals are a 2-point favorite. It's the home field, I'm sure. I kind of agree with them. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals here.
Oh, we got our first difference.
There we go. All right.
I think the Seahawks take it on the road.
All right. Seahawks. We got the Cardinals and the Seahawks. All right.
The Rams at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I got the Rams in this one. I think Tampa Bay is pretty shot. They are the home team. They are their 3-point favorite. Rams haven't looked great, but I think they beat the Buccaneers. And plus, it's a double good one for me. I think they're going to win, and I also get plus money for betting that. I'll get plus 125 on the money line for the Rams. I got the Rams, and I'm taking the money too. Let's go. Let's go, Rams.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, we had that game circled.
Yes.
Now we have an X through it. The Sunday night game, Titans at Chiefs.
Ooh, this one's good. You know what?
Titans have beaten them.
They have. That's why I'm saying this is a good game. The Titans are given 0 chance by Vegas. None. Plus 12. It's the largest line of the week.
Wow.
You know, I'm really tempted. I'm definitely betting them to cover that. You're getting almost even money at minus 105 just to cover the spread. But I am almost willing to just go out on a crazy limb and call an upset here because the Titans have the exact type of team that give the Chiefs difficulty. They have a team capable of controlling the clock, controlling time of possession, keeping Mahomes off the field, wearing down those front seven, which caused so much problems for other teams. Kansas City's front seven on defense I'm talking about. If they can run the ball and Henry has a big game, they could even win this game. I'm going to do something I sometimes do on the show. I'm going to say I think the Chiefs win, but I am going to say I'm putting a bet on the Titans to win because I'm getting plus 450.
Wow.
That's juicy, baby. I'm going with it.
So you've got the Chiefs.
I'm going to say the Chiefs for the purposes of our predictions, but I'm betting on the Titans to win the game just for the pure value of it.
I think it's going to be a closer game than everybody thinks, and I picked the Chiefs because they're at home.
Yep. Well,
the Monday night game, Ravens at the Saints.
You know, the Saints are another one of these teams that I keep kind of glossing over, and every once in a while they come up with this big win or something. But I got the Ravens here. I mean, they've just added so many new pieces. I really like their team. I think that Roquan Smith gives them a dynamic they didn't have before. I got the Ravens in this one.
I do too.
There you have it.
Wow.
Not bad.
No.
All right.
One difference.
Yep, that's it. Seahawks and Cardinals.
And I don't know why. My thought process got me to the Cardinals. Instinct says the Seahawks, and I don't know why.
Hey, you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's go Seahawks. Why not?
Absolutely.
But I'm rooting for the Cardinals because I picked them. So
okay.
All right. Well, there we have it. So, all right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We got the top 5 around the corner, but before that, we also have our NBA review of yesterday. We got some NHL stuff to get to as well. It's the Gary Ayd Show back after this here on The Cave.
Are you like me? You have health insurance, but you don't have dental insurance. Do you need to get to the dentist right away? Maybe you need an implant or some other major service. Well, I found a dental insurance plan that's just right for you. It's called Spirit Dental. Spirit Dental offers a $100 lifetime deductible, a huge network of dentists. And here's the best part. There's no waiting periods. Yeah, that means you can call right now and have real dental insurance for you and your family tomorrow and get that immediate coverage you want. Spirit Dental has plans for just a few dollars a day, up to $5,000 annual maximum, and coverage for implants. Whatever age you are, the dental insurance you need is a free phone call away. Now don't wait, and be sure to ask about Spirit's vision plan. Here's the number: 800-631-9229. 800-631-9229. That's 800-631-9229.
Hey friend, life happens and you need money. What do? You call the special toll-free number we're about to give you. We will send you a link to your phone with details on how you can loan up to $5,000. Couldn't you use $5,000 to pay for your rent, pay grocery bills, get your car repaired, or whatever you need? It's up to you. We don't care. We're just here to lend you the money. And we'll lend people money with good, bad, or no credit at all. Of course, some terms and conditions apply, and you'll see those on the link we're going to send you. So if you need up to $5,000 maybe as soon as the next business day, call this number right now. We will text you a free link with details.
Paid for by Money Mutual. Call 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. That's 800-586-7112.
All right, we're back, and it's time for some NHL scores. Rich, take it away.
We had a litany of games last night, as they say in the NHL, 3 involving locals. Igor Shesterkin had his rare off night. Boston beat the Rangers 5-2. Didn't help that he had a bad night against the best team in the league. The Islanders were all over the slumping St. Louis Blues by the same 5-2 score. New Jersey came from behind and won at Edmonton 4-3. So 2 out of the 3 local teams won. Other games: Carolina over Tampa Bay 4-3 in a shootout. Vegas 5, Ottawa 4. Detroit 3, Washington 1. Washington's only goal was by Alexander Ovechkin, and he tied Gordie Howe for the most number of goals on one team. In a couple of weeks or so, he'll probably pass Howe. Winnipeg beat Montreal 3-2 in overtime. The Kraken shut out Minnesota 4-0. They're hot. Chicago beat the LA Kings 2-1 in overtime. Nashville over Calgary 4-1. Vancouver trounced Anaheim 8-5. Dallas did the same thing to Arizona 7-2. Florida beat San Jose in a shootout 4-3. There's only 2 games on the docket today, but both are interesting. The NHL Global Series is going on today and tomorrow in Finland. The Columbus Blue Jackets are taking on the Colorado Avalanche 2 days. They're both 2 p.m. games and will both be carried by the NHL Network. Only 1 game tonight. Buffalo is at Carolina. That is an ESPN Plus and Hulu game. It's be nice light viewing tonight.
There you go.
Give me a chance to catch up on other stuff.
Yes, you're a hockey
without
enthusiast.
Without the late games, yeah, I've got more time.
There we go. All right. Well, that's the NHL. Only 2 games in the NBA yesterday. And one of them was fairly significant. The Warriors lost their 4th straight, this time to the Orlando Magic. Jalen Hurts had what you could argue has been the best game of his pro career so far yesterday. He scored 26 or 28 points, really made a big difference. Magic won this game by 130 to 129. I mean, this is surprising, Rich. I mean, you never like to care too much about early season games, especially with a veteran team like Golden State. But I mean, that's a bad loss. And look, they're 3-6.
Yeah. I think a lot of the off-season stuff, there's a hangover factor there.
Yep.
They don't want to talk about it, but there is.
Yeah,
and you can't tell me everything they've gone through, plus having a short off-season, is not affecting them.
No, you're right.
And it's affecting them on the end where it always happens, the defensive end.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. I mean, they scored enough points to win this game. I mean, they got a great offensive production from their starting lineup. Curry had 39 on 13 of 22 shooting. Thompson had 27, 10 of 24. Looney and Wiggins both contributed 17 and 15 respectively on efficient shooting. They even got some points off their bench. Jordan Poole, not an efficient game, but did get 11 points. But yeah, they couldn't stop anybody. I mean, like the Magic just killed them. I mean, the Magic shot 54% for the game, 43% from three. I mean, that Bonchero, Franz Wagner, they combined for 41 points. They got 14 out of Wendell Carter. And then I mentioned 26 from Jalen Suggs. And then 3 guys in double digits off their bench, Okiki, as well as Hampton and Harris, all gave them 16, 15, and 12. I mean, look, the Warriors just didn't stop anybody.
No.
Not that the Magic stopped them much either, but you don't expect the Magic to stop the Warriors.
Right.
So there's a surprising game. I really was surprised. I was happy to see Suggs have such a big game on such a big stage because I've always really liked his game from his time in Gonzaga, and it was nice to see him perform. There's also one other game yesterday that was interesting. Outcome not so much. It was an expected outcome. The Nuggets beat the Thunder 122-110, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been absolutely tearing it up. His last 7 games, he's averaging something like 32 points. He had another big one last night for Oklahoma City, 37 on 13 of 17 shooting. That's a lot of points on not a lot of shots. I mean,
I know.
He just kicked some butt last night, but it was pretty much just him. He got a little bit from Luke Dort and Josh Giddey, but
well, they had 4 guys in double figures, which was surprising, but Denver had 6
and nothing off the bench. And it was the double-headed monster of Murray and Gordon that really carried the day in the starting lineup. Jokic had an efficient triple-double, 15, 13, and 14. So he had a crazy game. Just not a high-scoring game. He only shot the ball 9 times. Gordon and like I said, and Murray just had it going. They both just put up major points, and they had Bruce Brown off the bench with 15, and then Porter had 11, as well as Caldwell Pope, both other starters. So all 5 starters were in double digits for the Nuggets. 1 guy off the bench with 15. Look, the Nuggets are a good team. I really like their team. I think Kentavious Caldwell Pope and Bruce Brown add a real significant factor to this team. I think if this team can find themselves a shot blocker to put into their rotation in the front court, I think they'll have all the makings of a championship contender come playoff time. I really do.
Unfortunately for them, that shot blocker is no longer DeAndre Jordan.
No, he is
taking up a roster spot.
That's it. Yep, that's exactly right.
And it's a shame because at one time he was as good of a shot blocker and rebounder as you could find in the league.
No, it's true. Father Time catches everybody at some point or another.
True.
Well, there you have it. So that's your NBA and NHL roundup. We're going to take our top of the hour break. We'll come back. We'll do the top 5, radio question of the day, news you can use in the second hour. So a lot to get to. Back after this, Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave. Okay, we're back. Hour 2 of the Gary Ayd Show. Time for the top 5, top of the hour. Radio question of the day next. News you can use. And the weekend of sports ahead. Maybe some NBA games. Maybe some NHL games to look at the weekend. Of course, tomorrow's Game 6 of the World Series and Sunday football. So there you have it. That's what's on tap the rest of the way. And right now, it's time for the top 5.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time for King Talk Radio's Top 5.
All righty. Thank you, Jack George. What do we got today, Rich?
Oh, watching last night and seeing the catch that Chaz McCormick made got me to thinking. And, of course, changing what I'm going to do for the top 5. I think that catch took runs off the board for Philly. That was a homer.
Yep.
And I think it turned the World Series around. Give me your top 5 all-time great defensive plays in a World Series.
This is tough because the one that stands out in my mind the most wasn't in the World Series. It was the Andy Chavez catch.
Yeah, that I thought of that too.
Oh man, that was crazy. World Series. Was Willie Mays' catch a World Series game? I'm not sure. I don't know.
I'm not sure either.
Okay.
Let me look and see if I can
All
find
right. Well, that comes to mind right away if it qualifies, of course. I know in one of the
yes,
it was a World Series
that
catch.
was.
Okay,
that
so
was a game 1.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's number 1. That's easy. I know in one of those mid 1970s when the Yankees won those couple of titles with the Thurman Munson, Reggie Jackson crew, Greg Nettles made like 14 defensive plays in like one game. Like they just kept hitting the ball to him and he kept making play after play after play. I might be off on the number a little bit, but he made like a whole mess of plays in one game. They varied from routine to spectacular with an average of difficult, I would say. And so I can't pick one specific one, but that whole series and sequence, that whole game, I think it might have been a game 3, but I'd have to double check that. That's one that sticks in my mind too, as just I think Greg Nettles is one of the most underrated third basemen of all time. I think he's one of the
Agreed.
absolute best.
In fact, that's on my list as well, and not for any one particular play. But I have 2 players on, or not just one particular play.
Yeah, that comes to my mind immediately. I would say just before we continue on here, real quick, one last thing on Nettles. Outside of Brooks Robinson, Mike Schmidt, and if you count him as a third baseman, Alex Rodriguez, I don't know that it would be crazy to say that he's somewhere between the 5th and 10th best third baseman of all time. Once you get past the top handful of people, I guess Murray played a lot of third base. Maybe Scott Rowland comes to mind, but Greg Nettles should be on anyone's short list of third baseman. This is a guy who played a very, very long time. He wasn't dominant at any one thing, but he was really good at a lot of stuff, had above average power, certainly made a lot of defensive plays as we're talking here. So just a really good player. Okay, let's see.
Oh, one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, he was tremendous. So what else do we got here? World Series. Trying to think because I know Derek Jeter's famous plays were all in the championship round, the division and championship rounds. I think there were a couple of plays made by in the Red Sox first World Series. I'm trying to remember who. Oh, Jason Varitek. Yeah, Varitek made a play in one of those World Series games when the Red Sox won their first World Series. I think it was a strike him out, throw him out type of double play that really changed momentum, if I remember correctly. I'd have to go back and look, but I think that was maybe like a game 2. And that was really good. I'm sure Ozzie Smith must have made some plays, and I'm sure Keith Hernandez too.
None stuck out to me as far as if I looked at my 5 best. I had many more.
What are some of yours here?
Well, you had Nettles for not just one play, but a bunch of plays.
Mm-hmm.
I have Brooks Robinson for the same reason. The Orioles were playing the Reds in 1970 in the series. In game 1, Brooks Robinson, Lee May of the Reds hit a shot down the third base line. Robinson makes this backhand grab. He spun and threw him out on a 1 bouncer to first without even like planting his feet or anything. And he just kept making play after play that day, and they won, and it turned the series around, and he was the series MVP. I have Mickey Mantle on my list.
Okay.
Game 5, Yankees Dodgers. That was Larson's perfect game. Gil Hodges hit a deep shot out to the old Yankee Stadium, had that Death Valley.
Oh, yeah. By the way, what type of sadistic monster in stadium construction design back in the day thought it was cool to put like statues in the field of play?
I have no idea.
It's like, that's just so beyond crazy to me.
So Mantle had a lot of running to do. He makes this amazing one-handed running catch. And that saved the perfect game. But
yeah, Mantle
nobody mentions that.
Mantle was a great defensive player.
Oh, he was. He was. Kirby Puckett owned the 91 series.
Yes, he did. Him and Jack Morris.
Yeah, and Puckett's defensive work was a difference. Game 6. I think it was Ron Gant batting for Atlanta, and he smashed one. And Puckett went up the wall and caught the ball.
Jeez.
Unbelievable. It just changed everything. It was in the 3rd inning, and it set the tone. The Twins needed the win.
I don't know if there was a World Series play he ever made that would qualify for a list like this, but I just want to name one name here real quick. Jim Edmonds is probably the most impressive defensive player I've ever seen in my life, no matter what position you're talking about. The guy just made so many crazy catches.
Yeah, I didn't have any one for him, but I had him considered.
Yeah, I mean, did he even get to play in the World Series? I guess he was on the Cardinals team that won the World Series, right? Was he still on those teams?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you have it.
I have a play from a loser in the World Series, Dwight Evans of the Red Sox against the Reds in 75. 11th inning, score tied 6-6. Red Sox tied the game with a 3-run homer in the 8th. Griffey was on base. Morgan hits a shot to right field. And it was gone. Evans made this leaping catch. He wasn't done. He then came down, threw the ball into first, and doubled up Griffey off of first.
Oh, that's awesome.
And eventually Fisk won in the next inning with that home run. The one where he's waving to stay fair.
Oh, yes. Stay.
Iconic home run. The Red Sox didn't win the series. That was one of the nicest defensive plays I'd ever seen.
There you go. That's a pretty good list. I know we have Jim's lock of the week. Kind of teased it in the chat here a second ago. So we got to get to that. It's a good one. By the way, he's 7-1 entering this week, I believe. So big time winning. So definitely whatever it is.
Oh yeah. When he says go to the window, I go to
Stick
the
to it.
window.
I'll give you my lock of the week. I really liked where was this game here? Minnesota to win by at least a touchdown. I think they're only favored by about 3, if I remember correctly from our segment just a little while ago. And that's my lock of the week. Tease that up to 6.5. Let me just double check that I got this right because I'm doing this off memory, but I'm pretty certain that Minnesota right now is only going at like a 3-point favorite or something of that nature. Here we go. Let's see. Minnesota over Washington. That's right. Only a 3-point favorite. Tease that up. You can go to 6.5. You'll get plus 145. That's a guarantee. I'd be curious, Jim, if you're listening, what you think of that one. I know it's not yours. We'll give yours in a second, but I'm just curious what you think of that one because that's my lock of the week. There's no way the Vikings are winning this game by less than a touchdown. I'd be shocked. The commies.
Hey, Jim's done me well, so.
Yes. All right. Well, you know what? Before we go to break, why don't we give that right now? Because we have it up here, and it's really good.
So I guess we're done with the top 5 then.
Yeah, well, I think we did our top 5. We'll just put some on there real quick. Nettles, Willie Mays is number 1. Nettles for me would be number 2. Jim Edmonds, number 3. I got number 4. I like Brooks Robinson. I like that pick. And I like Dwight Evans. I've seen that play a bunch of times too. That was amazing. So combination team effort there. That was a hard one.
I have 4 of yours in my top 5. The only one I don't have is Edmonds, and I replaced it with the Mantle catch against. And I hated leaving off Kirby Puckett.
Yeah, that's a tough one to leave off too. All right, well, here's Jim's play of the week. This is his lock of the week.
We need music for this or something. We got to set this up.
We do.
We need a segment.
We need something, right? All right. Well, you know what? We'll work on that for next week. Chargers are -3. That's like a guarantee. That's his lock of the week. Chargers -3. He says he also likes Vikings on the money line. With a parlay of the Chargers. So Chargers and the Vikings parlay money line, Chargers -3. Those are his locks. Take it to the bank. I agree with them. I mean, you heard what I said about the Vikings. Not only am I going money line, I'm going above. I'm going to go on the spread. I'm going to up the spread. I'm going to tease it up from 3 to 6.5. I'll get plus 145. I'm in. Chargers -3. I think that's also likely. So good job, Jim. Those are 2 really good bets. And you should probably win on both of them. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll do our question of the day. We still got news you can use. And we'll give you a look around what's on television this weekend as far as sports are concerned. So that's what's on tap the rest of the way. It's the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. That's 800-741-9557. If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. That's 800-826-5884.
All right, we're back. And back from the window. Let's go ahead and get today's radio question of the day in.
Out with the old, in with the new. I am KO, back in 1 minute with your sports question of the day.
You've been working hard, doing the right thing, and paying your taxes and putting your hard-earned money in the Medicare piggy bank all your life. And now it's time to break the piggy bank and get something back. Medicare. If you didn't know it, Medicare is health insurance for people over 65, and you've paid for it with your tax dollars. Medicare plans now have more benefits than ever. That's good news, especially if you're like me and looking forward to paying as little as possible for good health insurance. Call and find out what Medicare plan is best for you. Save your time. It's valuable. We've already done the research for you. And in one quick phone call, you can learn how to get the best Medicare plan designed exactly for you. Hey, it's one of the most important decisions in your life. Let us help you through it. Here's our number. Call 65 Plus Medicare now at 855-301-5506. 855-301-5506. That's 855-301-5506.
Fans are ready to ditch nostalgia in favor of more high-tech experiences at sporting events. This according to an Oracle-commissioned fan survey conducted by independent firm Untold Insights. The survey found fans love high-tech game experiences. A majority of respondents want to see the implementation of more self-service, and they want teams to reduce fan reliance on human interaction. More than half of those surveyed said they prefer using technology to interacting with staff during live stadium events. Question: do you prefer a more technologically advanced fan experience, or are you an old-school fan who prefers nostalgia?
Yeah, that was yesterday's question. So bad job on me loading the wrong thing. Let's go ahead and get today's question in. Sorry about that.
Football season is like a deployment. I am KO, back in 1 minute with your sports question of the day.
You've been working hard, doing the right thing, and paying your taxes and putting your hard-earned money in the Medicare piggy bank all your life. And now it's time to break the piggy bank and get something back. Medicare. If you didn't know it, Medicare is health insurance for people over 65, and you've paid for it with your tax dollars. Medicare plans now have more benefits than ever. That's good news, especially if you're like me and looking forward to paying as little as possible for good health insurance. Call and find out what Medicare plan is best for you. Save your time. It's valuable. We've already done the research for you. And in one quick phone call, you can learn how to get the best Medicare plan designed exactly for you. Hey, it's one of the most important decisions in your life. Let us help you through it. Here's our number. Call 65 Plus Medicare now at 855-301-5506. 855-301-5506. 855-301-5506. That's 855-301-5506.
During a recent episode of his podcast, 7-time Super Bowl champ Tom Brady discussed the difficulty of balancing a commitment to his athletic pursuits with his life outside of sports. He said, "I almost look at a football season like you're going away on deployment in the military." Some found the comment to be in poor taste, leading Brady to apologize. He said, "It's two very different things, and I shouldn't have made the comparison. In the end, we play a game, and the military is defending our country." Question: do you think Brady's football season deployments are or are not at the root of his relationship woes?
Well, clearly that's the problem. I don't even think that's a question, really. I mean, there was more or less an ultimatum that played out publicly. And the problem with ultimatums coming from your significant other is even if they choose the relationship's shot. Because the second you get put in a position to choose between two things you love, you're going to feel resent for having to give up one of them. And now that love of what you preserved is now not going to really be there. So ultimatums really never work, I don't think, my opinion. I'm no Dr. Phil, but I do have my hair. So maybe it's because my relationship's not as stressful. I don't know. But whatever it is, so that's that. Now, as far as the comparison itself, I understand why people took offense to it to a degree, but I also understand the comparison. I mean, in the sense of, I don't think he was comparing football to being shot at, but in terms of, being away and unplugged and on the road and unavailable for big chunks of time, there's a lot of things like that. It's not just deployment. It's not just football. There's a lot of people that travel for work, for sales. There's a lot of, people who are in, over the road truck drivers is an example of this. So from the standpoint of being away from loved ones on a regular basis for a chunk of time, yeah, I don't think that comparison is all that far off. Again, I get where people were sort of put off by it, but I also understand where Brady's coming from with it, and it is kind of all consuming. So I kind of get it. I mean, he apologized, and his apology actually came across as less forced than Kyrie's and more like authentic, because he didn't really so much take back his comment as he did qualify it a little bit more. And that's I think that was well and good. But yeah, I don't have a problem with the comparison. But as far as the question, oh yeah, of course it was the root. It was the whole tree. It wasn't just the root, it was the whole tree. That was the only problem.
Right. Oh yeah, they were having problems before that. That just escalated everything.
That just made it worse, right?
I have a problem with anybody thinking, oh, he shouldn't have said that, because the NFL does it themselves. They're not on a football field, they're on a gridiron. You have to get the ball into enemy territory. Everything they say is war sounding.
Yep.
In fact, George Carlin did a great bit on that, where he said, the whole goal in football is to get the ball into enemy territory and not stop until you reach the end zone. Said the whole job in baseball is to go home. It's two completely different things.
That's true. That's funny.
Yeah, the NFL does that themselves. So anyone who has a problem with it is wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I don't have a problem with it at all. Nor do I really have a problem with the NFL doing it at all. I mean, football is a more or less a combat sport. It truly is. I mean,
if you're playing a combat sport and you're going away to a training camp, it's like a deployment.
Right. And really, for 10 of the 22 guys on the field at any given point, the entirety of the game is just combat. There's nothing else to it. If you're any one of the down linemen on either side of the ball, that's your whole life, is beating the crap out of people who are trying to beat the crap out of you.
Right. I don't blame him for saying it, and I understand why he apologized, because no, it's not the same, but they're similar.
Right. Yep.
And I think that was his whole point.
Yeah, I don't disagree with him. I honestly don't. I don't think, and this is where people, I think, jump to extremes too much. He never explicitly said it's just as dangerous or it's, just as important or anything like that, which is the implication in the supposed offense of the comparison, is that implicit in that offense is that by making the comparison, he's saying they're completely the same, as opposed to just saying they're similar in some respects. And he never really spelled that out. And we just kind of got done going through all the ways that, there are similarities. And, I mean, I'm no Brady fan.
And the NFL plays it up. So
yeah, and they should. I mean, it's a real in with a large segment of the population, the patriotic part of the population. There's a huge love affair in this country for its armed services, with a huge part of the population. I think that's a part of football's success, is that close, relationship stylistically,
right,
and from a vernacular standpoint, like the things you were just going through a couple minutes ago. I think that's a big part of their success, an underspoken, underanalyzed part of their success, but I think it matters. So, yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Well, let me take that one step further, because to further the divide, there's a lot of people calling for not playing the national anthem at sporting events.
Right. Yep.
And
no.
I have no problem with them playing the national anthem. I have a problem with people taking a 1.5 to 2 minute song and making it 4 minutes
yes,
long.
Absolutely. I think we could all agree to that. But
just sing the anthem.
Yes. I think it's important. I actually think it's critical for the anthem to be played at sporting events, because sports remains, as I've said a million times, the ultimate unifying force in this country, maybe the only one left in a lot of ways. And I think it's important from a, subliminal, almost osmosis type of state, if we're going to recalibrate the country's unity level outside of sporting events. I think it's important that we all hear the anthem and maybe start to internalize its meaning and symbolism a little bit more again. And the only place that happens right now is sporting events. And I think it's absolutely critical that they remains that way. I think there would be a major loss for the country at large if that weren't the case.
Now, the biggest number of sporting events I go to a year are hockey games.
Yep.
I get 2 anthems.
Well, yes. 2 for the price of 1. Double header, baby.
That's right. But yes, stop over singing it.
Yeah, no,
please.
I agree. And I understand from the artist standpoint a little bit. The song's been sung so many times, so many different ways. Artists are by definition and by nature individuals. They're trying to make it their own, and I get that. But it's elongating something that doesn't need to be elongated.
Yeah, but out of reverence, this is not a time to show your vocal exercise work. Okay, if you want to do that, go to a class and sing jazz. The anthem's not the place for it.
No, I agree. No, I completely agree with you 100%. So there we have it. All right. Well, there's your radio question of the day. Let's take a break. We'll come around and we will look around the sports world and see what we got as far as games to watch this weekend. Of course, Game 6 of the World Series is tomorrow. We'll give you a look at the NBA slate and some NHL games as well. We already went through the football games, and we'll close it up with some news you can use. That's what's on tap the rest of the way. Back after this is the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. That's 800-370-2460.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do. And you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. That's 800-649-8617.
All right, we are back, and big day in the association today. Man, you got a full slate of games here, 12 in all. Yeah, baby.
A lot of good ones, too.
As I'm pulling up the schedule right now.
Some really good ones. The Bulls and Celtics intrigues me.
That is an interesting matchup.
The Bulls know how to play that style. The two games between the LA teams, or not between, concerning the LA teams, intrigue me just for who they're playing. San Antonio taking on the Clippers is going to tell us a little more about how San Antonio's doing this. And the same thing with the Jazz at the Lakers.
Yes.
Have the Lakers found the secret sauce?
They've won 2 impressive games against 2 good teams in their last.
Yes. Will they continue that against the Jazz, or what do the Jazz have going on?
I don't know.
Toronto at Dallas is another game I like a lot.
Do we maybe the Jazz got a visit from Shawn Michaels before the start of the season with that sweet chin music they got going on there?
Oh yeah.
Had to get one in. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of games here. I'll give you 3 that really intrigue me. Bucks at Timberwolves. Bucks remain undefeated. Timberwolves, solid team, but this is a tough matchup for them. But you know, if there's one guy in the association that has the length, size, and athletic ability to at least make Giannis notice him around the rim, it's Rudy Gobert.
True.
So are the Timberwolves maybe uniquely structured to limit Giannis's efficiencies on those drives to the basket? Because if they can, maybe they can keep this game close and even steal a win. I wouldn't bet on it, but they are just 3.5-point dogs at home. So this is expected to be close, and over under of 227. So, relatively standard scoring game, maybe a little higher. 2 other games that really catch my eye. Mavericks at Raptors. I think these two, Raptors at Mavericks. I think these two teams are pretty equal. I think the Mavericks are a little bit better ultimately, but right now I think they have very similar records. The Raptors have played 1 more game. Raptors are 5-3. Mavericks are 4-3. Mavericks are 3.5 home point favorites. I like this matchup. I like the matchup of what is that? What are those long, rangy wings of Toronto? What impact do they have on Luka, if any? And then does the glaring lack of front court size of Toronto make the Mavericks kind of come out of their routine and put Christian Wood in the starting lineup or extend his minutes in some way to try to take advantage of that? So there's a couple of chess moves here that I'm going to be paying attention to. The other thing I'm going to be paying attention to is the bench scoring between the two teams. I think that could be the deciding factor in this game. I think both teams are pretty good on the bench scoring. I think Toronto might be a little bit I think there's a lower drop off from starter to bench player with Toronto, but I think there's a higher ceiling of explosive offensive output potential from the Mavericks bench. So I think it's going to be an interesting dichotomy there. So I'm looking at that. And then the last game for me, coming right back at it after the tough loss to the Magic, the Warriors in New Orleans. Look, I mean, the New Orleans is a good team, and for their part, Vegas thinks they're going to win this game. They've installed the Pelicans as a 4-point home favorite. They think it's going to be high scoring, 233.5. And I think Vegas has this one pretty well pinged. I'd be concerned if I was the Warriors right now. I wouldn't be panicked, but I would be looking for some answers. And this Pelicans team, they're going to put pressure on you. This team has weapons. With Zion healthy, they're a physical, athletic team. Brandon Ingram is as good a scoring wing as there is in the NBA. They got some big guards. This is a good team. I think the Pelicans could continue the Warriors' woes. So those are 3 games I'll be paying a lot of attention to.
Well, I had one of those 3, the Raptors and Dallas. I think it's a great matchup. I also have the Knicks and the Sixers. Each team's 1 game under 500. Each team's been a little disappointing. Each team has the talent to make this a game.
It's good stuff. I like who's been your biggest surprise so far this year, good or bad?
Bad, the Warriors. Good, Portland.
Okay, that's a good one.
Not forgetting about Utah, but yeah, Portland. Not forgetting about San Antonio either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to say for me, my good surprise so far this year, I agree with you with Portland. And I'm going to stay with that one too, because I think unlike San Antonio and Utah, which I'm just not a believer in their ability to sustain, I think Portland has just enough veteran presence that they might be able to remain relevant throughout the whole year. So I'm going to go with them. That's where I'm headed with that. As far as
the way Simons is playing, they don't miss McCall.
They don't. No, not at all. And as far as bad is concerned, I'm not surprised at the Lakers and Nets, so I'm not gonna use either one of those. I'm a bit surprised. I'll give you 2. The Clippers have underperformed to my expectations. I thought that coming into the year they were pretty healthy, and the West was, I think, fairly wide open. I'm not terribly shocked that the Warriors have struggled somewhat, given what happened in the offseason and just coming off a championship. Maybe the depths of the struggles are greater than I thought they'd be, but it didn't shock me that they got off to a slow start. I really thought the Clippers were positioned to come out of the gates fast and kind of be 6-1, 5-2, something like that. And they're just sitting there at 4-4. They've not been good, and I've been disappointed with them. And similarly in the Eastern Conference, Miami at 4-5 hasn't looked good either.
No.
So those are 2 teams I thought were going to be near the top of their conference, who are now, 500 or a game under. So,
and still, we're hearing the same things out of LA. Kawhi's out for a couple of weeks.
This is bad.
He needs some treatment on the knee. I don't know if it's ever going to end.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like it.
Interesting that there's an NHL game in the afternoon today, 2 p.m., Columbus and Colorado. Why the afternoon? Because it's being played in Helsinki, Finland.
I always wanted to play in Helsinki. It sounds like a place for some intense battles.
Oh, yeah. And they're playing there this afternoon and Saturday afternoon as well. And, of course, Saturday we have World Series Game 6. And the college football game of the century this week.
Game of the century.
With Tennessee taking on Georgia. Biggest game ever until next Saturday.
That's right. Biggest game ever. Tennessee. Oh, there you have it. All right. Well, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll wrap it up with some news you can use. It's the Gary Ayd Show here in the cave.
Are you like me? You have health insurance, but you don't have dental insurance. Do you need to get to the dentist right away? Maybe you need an implant or some other major service. Well, I found a dental insurance plan that's just right for you. It's called Spirit Dental. Spirit Dental offers a $100 lifetime deductible, a huge network of dentists. And here's the best part. There's no waiting periods. Yeah, that means you can call right now and have real dental insurance for you and your family tomorrow and get that immediate coverage you want. Spirit Dental has plans for just a few dollars a day, up to $5,000 annual maximum, and coverage for implants. Whatever age you are, the dental insurance you need is a free phone call away. Now don't wait, and be sure to ask about Spirit's vision plan. Here's the number: 800-631-9229. 800-631-9229. That's 800-631-9229.
Hey friend, life happens and you need money. What do? You call the special toll-free number we're about to give you. We will send you a link to your phone with details on how you can loan up to $5,000. Couldn't you use $5,000 to pay for your rent, pay grocery bills, get your car repaired, or whatever you need? It's up to you. We don't care. We're just here to lend you the money. And we'll lend people money with good, bad, or no credit at all. Of course, some terms and conditions apply, and you'll see those on the link we're going to send you. So if you need up to $5,000 maybe as soon as the next business day, call this number right now. We will text you a free link with details.
Paid for by Money Mutual. Call 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. That's 800-586-7112.
Okay, be sure to tune in Sunday from 11 to noon for the Final Line, hosted by myself, Gary Ayd, as well as Richie Mills. We'll be going through our best bets for the NFL slate of games, and don't be surprised if at some point we start throwing some NBA games in there as well. But football right now, that's the Final Line, 11 to noon, here on these same channels, cavetalkradio.com, the app, and of course, Facebook Live. So check us out. We'd be happy to have you. Love to take your questions as well. All right, that said, it's time for news you can use.
Let's start in the NBA. I have some couple of tidbits there. The NBA says Tyler Hero traveled on his game winner. Oh, who cares?
Boo-hoo.
Come on.
Come on, man.
Everyone in the NBA travels. If you look at the letter of the law, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like that. And you know,
the NBA glorifies traveling. They put LeBron's 7-stepper in a highlight package. Oh, it was funny, but it was traveling.
Right.
What, can just some people travel now? And the bigger star you are, the more you get to travel? Okay, tell us that.
Well,
tell us the truth. Everybody travels.
Of course they do. There's always been stars get a little bit of preferential treatment, but it's
right.
I view that as largely earned, to be honest with you. Like, I think that's the case in any walk of life. If you excel at your vocation, you get more rope than someone who's not as good.
True.
That's just life.
True.
You know.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's just
stop with the nitpicking on everybody
Oh, it's
else.
annoying. It's annoying. Just leave it alone. I mean, like, because to me, whenever I hear someone complaining about a traveling call, I just think, oh, you haven't watched basketball since 1997, have you? It just sounds like an old guy yelling at a cloud, "Get off my lawn! Back in my day, me." Oh, shut up. Go away.
But this is the NBA saying it, which makes it worse.
Well, they're saying it in response to a complaint filed by the opposing coach. I was reading I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but I was reading a thing the other day about the coach of the aggrieved team complaining about it publicly. So this is the NBA's response to his query, basically, is my understanding. But either way, it's just...
Oh, okay. I thought it was...
Leave it alone, either way.
Excuse me. I thought it was just the
league just outing itself?
Well, no, the 2-minute thing they send out. The last 2
yeah. Minutes. I think the reason it's being publicized is because of the complaint from the day before. But anyway.
Okay, well, I don't want to hear from the complainers either.
Exactly. Me either. Okay, good. No complainers. Go away. I got the mute button. I'm not afraid to use it. Go away, complainers. I'll mute you. All right, what do we got?
The Sixers off to a not great start.
Oh, they are.
22nd ranked defense in the NBA. They also play at the second slowest pace in the league. That's going to change. James Harden is out for a month.
Yep. It's a big injury.
With a foot injury. The one thing that can come out of this could save Doc Rivers' job. Because there's already been talk about them letting him go.
Mm-hmm.
He has no choice but to pick up the pace offensively now.
Right. He's going to have to.
And he's got the guy to do it with Maxey.
Yes.
I think that's the one way the Sixers can actually benefit from a bad injury. You don't really benefit because it hurts your depth. But I think this is the one way they could cover that.
How do you see Embiid's role in the offense evolving in a faster pace?
He's plenty capable of getting up and down the floor.
But I'm saying, where do you think he gets his touches in a offense that's maybe more helter-skelter? Because right now he's been getting a lot of high post and even low post touches and short corner touches. Those aren't your normal spots for a more open offense.
I think he'll still get the touches. They'll come differently. They won't come from Harden dominating the ball. He'll get just as many touches in the running game. He'll get touches in the post. I don't really think it affects him because no matter what, the offense has to go through him.
Right. He's their best player, no matter how you slice it. Right.
Right. They're just going to get up and down the floor quicker.
Right.
That might not only help with setting a pace, that might also help them on defense a little bit. Because if you're playing a quicker lineup, you got people that can get back faster.
Right. Right.
This might also define a role for Harris. So it's interesting.
It is.
So the important thing is the coaching staff and players have to take the glass half full look at this. This gives them the opportunity to open up, make the best of it, go.
There you go. All righty. Well, there you have it. What else we got?
Let's see what we got here. Tua Tagovailoa says that we're not afraid to talk about Super Bowls around here. So there's a lot of talk coming out of a team that hasn't won anything.
Wow.
Just bothers me.
That is annoying. That really is. Yeah, why?
That's what I was wondering.
Like, okay, so it's the first time in a lot of years that the Dolphins are even relevant enough to be talking about to be thinking about the playoffs. Can we crawl before we walk? Like, we just get out of the INCU. We're like barely out of the hospital yet, and we're already talking about going to college. Like, no, like, well, there's a few steps here first. Like, let's first be able to talk, then we can walk, then we can go to kindergarten, then we learn to drive. At some point, we can talk about college. Like, let's chill. Come on, man.
My thoughts exactly. Jeremy Pena becomes the first rookie shortstop to hit a World Series home run.
That's surprising.
With everyone asking early in the year, why did they not keep Correa? Pena's improvement shows why. I probably would not have made that move yet. But Pena's getting there. And Minnesota's so upset with Correa that they don't want him. I can think of a number of teams that would take him.
Yeah, I would be happy with them, says the resident Met fan.
But I don't know, it baffles me that, and it's not Pena doing as well as he's doing is a plus sign for the Astros organizational scouting and player development. It's not a negative towards Correa. At least I don't think so.
I agree. All right, what else we got? We got time for maybe two more.
Mint Mobile owner and actor Ryan Reynolds is reportedly interested in buying the Ottawa Senators. Seems like a nice guy. His commercials are funny. Mint Mobile's a good deal. Why not?
Why not?
Bring him in.
I like
He
it.
just has to remember he's on a long list. There's a lot of people that want to buy that team.
There you go.
And of course, the saga of the Nationals never stops.
The Nationals.
Now they're worried about a sale because of the television deal. They and the Orioles share the same network. What part of it are you buying? How are you going to divide it up? I don't know. That team needs to be sold.
Yeah. I have an interesting bit of news. What about Jeff Bezos and Jay-Z talking partnership to buy the Redskins? That's interesting.
Bezos has wanted an NFL team.
He has.
I can see that happening.
I mean, there would be.
I can see that happening. I just have a negative on that whole sale.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're on the same page there. We talked about that yesterday or the day before.
Yes.
But yeah, I think I thought it was interesting that he was talking specifically of partnering with Jay-Z. Those are two guys you wouldn't associate with being partners on something.
Yeah, and I thought it was something he wanted to do by himself. I don't know what the terms of his divorce was, but I know his wife had to have walked away pretty happy. I don't know if she has any further financial hold. That could also be a factor. But what do I know? I don't have any money.
Yeah, you're some guy on the radio.
And that's all I got.
There we go. I like it. Well, that about does it. I know Rick Tittle's waiting in the on deck circle. We'll get to him momentarily. Good stuff this week. We will be back on Monday. I will be back with Richie on Sunday, 11 to noon for the final line. And we will see you then. Enjoy the weekend of games. A lot of NBA action. World Series tomorrow, Game 6. NFL, NHL, everything's in motion. It's a great time to be a sports fan. Enjoy it. Don't let it go to waste. We'll be back Monday, 10 to noon, the Gary Ayd Show. Until then, stay locked into Cave Talk Radio at cavetalkradio.com or the Cave Talk Radio app. Here comes Rick Tittle with Titillating Sports on the Cave.